If you've struggled to lose weight your entire life, you feel like you've gained and lost the same 30, 40 pounds over and over and over, you're out here weighing your spinach on a food scale, and Chad over here is going through McDonald's and not gaining a pound. We really need to talk about the 4 main imbalances that could be going on in your body, making fat loss more challenging. Before you come for me, I'm very well aware you need to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. You need to be exercising. Strength training, minimum 3 days a week is a non-negotiable. Walking 7 to 10,000 steps a day is a non-negotiable. If you've never tracked your food, please do that first before you diagnose yourself with something because you saw it on TikTok. I think of fat loss like baking a cake. So if you want your cake to turn out right, you need eggs, you need flour, you need milk. The eggs, the flour, and the milk are you strength training 3 days a week minimum? Are you actually following a plan? Are you consistent with that plan? Are you walking 7 to 10,000 steps a day? Have you ever tracked your food intake? Get that down first. And then and only then, once you're consistent with that, which 90% of people are not, then and only then you can start looking at the oven. Is there something wrong with the oven? And that's the reason the cake is not turning out right. This video is inspired by a client of mine who told me on a Zoom check-in that she's losing weight for the first time and it actually feels kind of effortless. Those are her words and not mine because she is consistent and she's actually putting in the work and following the plan I laid out. Number 1, blood sugar issues. So this is why people on Ozempic are losing weight. Duh. What Ozempic is doing and tirzepatide and the GLP-1s, it is helping stabilize your blood sugar. And the reason it's helping with food noise and food cravings is because it's stabilizing your blood sugar. And you can literally do that through your diet, eating more protein, eating more fiber. Big Pharma doesn't want you to know that you can do that through your nutrition, but you can mimic the effects of a GLP-1 through your diet. That's why this client is effortlessly losing weight. She has drastically upped her protein and upped her fiber, and she's told me, I actually struggle to eat more than 1,700 calories. Because have you ever tried to eat 2,500 calories of potatoes and squash and broccoli and chicken breast and ground beef? It's so filling. It is so satiating. You get to a point it's physically hard to eat over a certain amount. And when your blood sugar is unstable, you crave sugar, you crave refined carbs, you feel like you need to eat every 2 hours, otherwise you're going to faint and pass out. Which obviously, if you're eating every 2 hours, you're going to gain weight because you're not in a calorie deficit. You're going to be overeating because you're eating 8 to 9 times a day. I work with people with hypoglycemia that are literally eating 8 to 9 times a day. I've worked with people that have to wake up at 3 a.m. to eat a snack. Obviously, if you're eating 10 times a day, you're going to have a very difficult time adhering to any calorie deficit. Number 2, thyroid issues. Okay, this is incredibly common. It's more common. Hashimoto's is more common in women. You're not cooked because you have a thyroid problem. You absolutely can lose weight with hypothyroidism, Hashimoto's. My number 1 recommendation for this group of people is to pull out gluten, heavily focus on your gut health, and consider tracking your macros. The ingredients of the cake, if you will, still have to be down, even if you have Hashimoto's or hypothyroidism. Number 3, emotional eating / food is your only source of joy. If every single time there's a minor inconvenience in your life, you reach for food, you haven't learned to sit with yourself and to sit with difficult emotions, to actually feel those emotions, but instead you suppress it with food. If food is your only source of joy in this world, you are going to struggle to lose weight. Even if you have the best plan, the best trainer, the best macro plan, you won't stick to it because you have to address the emotional root cause, which is finding joy outside of food. Learning to sit with difficult feelings instead of self-medicating and stuffing your feelings down with food. Number 4 is gut dysbiosis. I focus on gut health as a nutritional therapist. When I had candida overgrowth, I had candida and low acromantia. Low acromantia is actually linked with higher BMI and more blood sugar issues. Every single client I've ever worked with PCOS, type 2 diabetes, pre-diabetes has had almost no acromantia in their gut. I don't say this to be disempowering. I lost 30 pounds with low acromantia. But guess what? If you have low acromantia, you're more likely to have blood sugar issues. Blood sugar issues make you crave sugar. They make you feel not full after eating. You might be someone who eats every 2 hours, every 3 hours because you feel like you're going to faint and pass out if you don't eat. If you're eating 8 to 9 times a day because you're hypoglycemic, yeah, you are going to have a very hard time losing weight. Fasting, this is why I started fasting this year. I used to be very against it. Fasting has shown to increase acromantia. You also can eat olives, olive oil, polyphenol-rich foods, matcha, all feed acromantia. Candida, I also see linked to a lot of sugar cravings. If you are insatiably craving sugar all day, every day, and it's all you can think about, yeah, you're probably going to unintentionally overeat, which will kick you out of a calorie deficit, which will lead to you not losing weight. This one's super common in women that have dieted their entire life. If your calories have been too low for too long, I see a lot of women keep their calories super strictly low, like 12 to 1,500 calories for years on end, just tanking your thyroid, tanking your hormones. You're obviously going to feel exhausted, bloated, puffy. Seeing this group of women go on Ozempic is the most heartbreaking thing I've ever seen in my life because these people have food noise. Right? Not because you have an Ozempic deficiency. You have food noise because you are not eating and your body needs nutrients. So a lot of these women struggle to lose weight and they find themselves in restriction and binging cycles where you feel super out of control around sugar. You feel super out of control around certain foods. So who knows how many calories you're actually eating in that binge? Restricting because you fear gaining weight, but the binging is keeping you stuck and puffy and inflamed and bloated and sick and not losing any weight. So in order to break that cycle, you're going to have to increase your overall caloric intake. Leave me a comment if you want to see a deep dive on any of these topics, because I could talk for hours about each individual one and I can't fit it all into a 6-minute TikTok.